Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Toxic Love. And I'm your host, Derek Cap Moore. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk about the Gabby, aka Gabrielle Venora Petito case involving her fiance, Brian Laundrie. Now, in August of 2021, an American woman by the name of Gabrielle Venora Petito was killed by her fiance Brian Laundrie at the age of 22 while they were traveling together on a van life journey across the United States. The trip was planned to last for 4 months and began on June 2nd, 2021, but Petito disappeared on August 27th of that year. Now, both happened to meet back in high school, and Gabby happened to be, aka Gabrielle Petito, happened to be born and raised in Blue Point, New York. She had 6 younger siblings and half siblings. In 2013, Petito and her stepbrothers appeared in a music video to raise awareness about American gun violence in response to the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. By the way, folks, that was a sad time because I remember it almost like it happened yesterday. And what I remember for the most part was seeing those elementary school kids and how traumatized they were. Anyway, and I digress. In 2017, she graduated from Bayport Blue Point High School in Bayport, New York, where she met Brian Christopher Laundrie. From September 2017 to January 2019, she lived in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, working as a hostess and in the kitchen of a restaurant in nearby Wilmington. She applied to Cape Fear Community College but did not attend. Petito began dating Brian Laundrie in March 2019 and moved in with him and his parents in Newport, Florida. The couple worked at a Publix in Newport, where she was a pharmacy technician and he was in the grocery department. They quit their jobs at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. And who could forget that time? That was a pretty traumatic time. I mean, man, pretty much everywhere you went, it was closed down that year. On top of that, pretty much everywhere you went, you saw people wearing masks, face masks. Anyway, in late 2019 and early 2020, the couple embarked on a cross-country drive from New York to California. Along the way, they visited Las Vegas, Yosemite National Park, Pismo Beach, and other points of interest. In March 2020, Petito celebrated her 21st birthday in Nakuma's, Florida. She and Laundrie visited Soap Creek, Georgia, and June 2020, the two were engaged the following month. Now, in December 2020, Petito purchased a 2012 Ford Transit Connect van converted into a camper in which the couple would take their next cross-country trip. To save money for the trip, she began working 50-hour weeks at Taco Bell and as a nutritionist, while Laundrie took a job at an organic juice bar. Petito documented her life and travels on social media sites such as YouTube and Instagram, where she described her interests as quote-unquote art, yoga, and veggies. Now, about the disappearance. On June 17, 2021, Petito and Laundrie visited her native Blue Point for her brother's graduation ceremony. On June 2nd, 2021, they left Blue Point in a Ford Transit Connect van for their trip. Later that month, they visited Monument Rocks, Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon National Park, Mystic Hot Springs, and Canyonlands National Park. Domestic disturbance. Now, as far as the domestic disturbance incident goes, on August 12, 2021, a witness called 911 to report that a couple later identified as Laundrie and Petito, were fighting in front of the Moonflower Community Cooperative in Moab, Utah. The caller said they saw a man slap a woman, after which the man and woman ran up and down the sidewalk. Then the man hit the woman again before they drove off together. Another witness described the incident to police as looking like Petito and Laundrie were talking aggressively, quote unquote, and that Petito was, quote unquote, punching him in the arm. The witness said it looked like Laundrie was trying to leave Petito behind and take her phone with him. Before they drove off together, she climbed into the driver's seat, moved over into the passenger seat so he could drive, and asked him, "Why do you have to be so mean?" Officers from the Moab City Police Department identified the van driving erratically near the entrance to Arches National Park and conducted a traffic stop. They found Petito crying heavily in the passenger seat when police body camera footage showing that she had then told officers, "Yeah, I don't know if some days I really bad OCD. I was just cleaning and straightening up back in I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I can get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him. My vibe is I'm in a bad mood, and I was just saying I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning, and now, and I just quit. I just now quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. I have a blog, so I've been building my website. I've been really stressed, and he doesn't really believe I could do any of it. So we've just been fighting all morning. He wouldn't let me in the car before." Petito first downplayed the physical altercation after the officer pointed out marks on her arm and face and told her to, quote unquote, just be honest. She said that Laundrie kept telling her to, quote unquote, shut up and, quote unquote, grab her face, which had caused an injury. Now, Brian Laundrie told the officer, "I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere and just calm down for a minute." She was getting worked up, and then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me. I was just trying to, I know I shouldn't push her. I was just trying to push her away to go. Let's take a minute, step back and breathe and see. She got me with her phone. Petito told the officer that she hit Laundrie first and asked the officers to not separate them. In his report, one of the officers wrote, "At no point in my investigation did Gabrielle stop breathing or stop crying, breathing heavily, or compose a sentence without needing to wipe away tears, wipe her nose, or rub her knees with her hands." The male tried to create distance by telling Gabby to take a walk to calm down. She did not want to be separated from the male and began slapping him. He grabbed her face and pushed her back as she sprung upon him in the van. Neither Petito nor Laundrie wanted to press charges as a result of the incident, which was characterized by police as a mental breakdown rather than domestic violence, which would have required an arrest. The police separated the couple, arranging for Laundrie to spend the night at the Bowen Motel in Moab and for Petito to stay in the van. The MCPD later investigated whether or not its officers handled the case in accordance with the department's policies, and its chief of police took a leave of absence during the investigation. Now, about the last reported activities and sightings. On August 17, Laundrie took a flight from Salt Lake City to Tampa, Florida, leaving Petito behind. Petito spent several days at a Fairfield Inn and Suites hotel near Salt Lake City International Airport, according to staff, and checked out on August 24th. It was later explained by the Laundrie family attorney he made the trip to, quote-unquote, obtain some items and empty and close a storage unit to save money as they contemplated extending the road trip. Laundrie returned on August 23rd to rejoin Petito and continue the trip. Petito's mother said that she last spoke to her daughter on August 25th and had been told that the couple were traveling from Utah to Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Parks. On August 25th, the final post was made on Petito's Instagram account, which consisted of photos of her taken in front of a butterfly mural outside a restaurant in Ogden, Utah. On August 27th, Petito and Laundrie were captured by a CCTV recording filmed at a Whole Foods store in Jackson, Wyoming. They arrived at the parking lot at 2:11 p.m. and entered the store at 2:14 p.m. Now, before exiting at 2:30 p.m. and heading back into the van, after about 20 minutes of sitting in the van, they eventually drove away and pulled at Highway 89, the road north of Brigard Teton National Forest campsite at 2:56 p.m. This was the last time Petito was seen alive. Eyewitness accounts of the couple thereafter were as follows. A witness said that on August 27th, between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m., she saw Laundrie and Petito together at the Mary Piglet's Tex-Mex restaurant in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Per the witness, Laundrie was a quote-unquote aggressive and had an argument apparently regarding money with the manager, waitress, and the hostess. The witness said she later saw Petito return to the restaurant crying and apologizing for Laundrie's behavior. Restaurant staff confirmed via Instagram that the couple were indeed there. Another witness contacted the FBI to report the activities and coordinates of a slow-moving white van, a quote-unquote generic young white man quote-unquote acting weird near the Spread Creek dispersed camping area on August 26, 27, and possibly 28. She posted a video on TikTok detailing her observations. According to the witness, an FBI agent said that her account, quote-unquote, tipped the FBI off to the correct location of Petito's remains. On September 1st, Laundrie returned home to his parents' Northport home in a Ford Transit Connect. On September 6th and 7th, he and his parents were camping at Fort DeSoto Park in Pinellas County. Petito, now this is pertaining to Petito and Laundrie reported missing. On September, and excuse me folks, let me say it again, excuse me for stumbling over my words. This is about both Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie reported as missing. On September 11th, after not hearing from Petito since late August, Petito's mother filed a missing person report. 4 days later, Laundrie was named a person of interest. His parents hired a lawyer and based on his advice remained silent and refused to talk to anyone about the case. Police surveyed the Laundrie home and saw him leave on September 13th. 2 days later, they saw his car return. Police believe the person who exited the car and entered the home was Laundrie. The following day, Northport Police Chief Todd Garrison told reporters, "All I'm going to say is we know where Brian Laundrie is at." On September 17th, Laundrie was reported missing by his parents, who claimed not to have seen him since September 13th. It was at this time that police realized that they had mistaken Laundrie's mother for Laundrie himself on September 15th. After obtaining search warrants, police seized the Ford Transit Connect external hard drive and the Laundrie family's Ford Mustang from the Northport residence. On September 19, human remains matching the description of Petito were found at the Spread dispersed camping area in Wyoming, not far from where the Ford Transit Connect was previously observed. Her identity was confirmed and an autopsy determined that the manner of death was homicide by quote-unquote blunt force injuries to the head and neck with manual strangulation, which occurred 3 to 4 weeks before the body was found. On September 23rd, the United States District Court for the District of Wyoming issued an arrest warrant for Laundrie due to his unauthorized use of Petito's debit card to obtain $1,000 or more between August 30th and September 1st. The FBI took material to match Laundrie's DNA from his home. On October 5th, in an interview on ABC News, Laundrie's sister encouraged him to surrender to authorities. 2 days later, Laundrie's father joined investigators since searching for him at the T. Mabry Cultural Reserve in Sarasota County, Florida, focusing on areas he used to frequent in the reserve and the adjacent Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. On October 20th, Laundrie's skeletal remains identified by forensic dentistry, and some of his belongings were found in the Mayakahachi Creek Environmental Park in an area that had recently been underwater due to Florida. His cause of death could not be determined by an autopsy, and his remains were given to a forensic anthropologist for further examination. On November 23rd, it was announced that the anthropology had concluded that Laundrie died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Man, that's terrible. On January 21st, 2022, the FBI revealed that Laundrie's notebook, which was found near its remains, contained an entry in which he admitted to killing Petito and deceiving people that she was still alive via text messages. He was officially blamed for Petito's death by authorities. The FBI Denver division closed out the investigation and stated the investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito. The FBI's primary focus throughout the investigation was to bring justice to Gabby and her family. In June 2022, the Laundrie family's lawyer released a full notebook entry in which Laundrie claims that he killed Petito after she had fallen and injured herself. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it is what she wanted. But now I see all the mistakes I made. The note ends with his plans for suicide. I am ending my life not because of a fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without my life. Experts, however, contend that Laundrie's account does not match investigators' findings. Michael Alcazar from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice believed Laundrie was quote-unquote someone who doesn't want to own up to what he did and was trying to find justification for the actions he did. Now, the moral of the story is, when you first meet someone, they may come out as so nice and so in love with you, then within a drop of a dime could turn on you just like that. That's why people, before you get to really fall in love with someone, you need to be very precautious, very mindful of that person's background, because sometimes some of the most nicest people, and not only that, some of the most attractive people are usually some of the most disturbed. And once again, this is a perfect example of another case of toxic love. With that being said, folks, make sure you like the video, you comment on it, you share it. Last but not least, you subscribe to the channel. With that being said, goodbye, guys.